Alien friend, can we meet and talk? After talking to the electronic voice for a while, Zhang Tao wanted to observe the alien he was speaking to up close. Naturally, Zhao Yu wouldn't let him have his way. Instead of showing up in person, he asked Big Sister Zhang and Brother Wang Er to send his captives to be imprisoned. While there were no prison cells built in this base, there were a few rooms in the industrial area that were fully equipped for Zhao Yu to live in temporarily when he was inspecting work. For now, he could arrange for the three of them to stay in the industrial area temporarily. Clang! The door opened, and the three of them took 2 steps back nervously. Outside the door, a robot appeared. It was carrying weapons on its shoulders. It had a pair of emotionless laser eyes. It was the same robot that drove the three of them here. The 2 robot guards didn't enter. Instead, they stood on both sides of the door. Then, 2 more figures walked in. It was Big Sister Zhang and Brother Wang Er. Looking at the 2 people who walked in, Zhang Tao and the other 2 were shocked. These aliens actually looked like them. You can take off your oxygen masks. You can breathe in the base. Big Sister Zhang's name was Zhang Yixia. She looked to be in her 40s. She was a nanny designed by Zhao Yu in the early days when he first came to the moon. She was responsible for cooking and cleaning. The AI system implanted in her body was very human-like, and her expression was no different from a human's. She was so human-like, in fact, the 3 astronauts thought that they had encountered a living person. Lu Ning glanced at Wang Dongdong and Zhang Tao. Seeing them nod, she took off his oxygen mask. After inhaling and exhaling, she confirmed that the air was no different from Earth. After Zhang Tao confirmed that there was no problem with the air, he extended out his arm and attempted to be friendly. Hello, my name is Zhang Tao. I'm a native of Earth, the 3rd planet in the solar system. I belong to the nation of Great Xia and am a member of Xia's space agency. I'm here because I'm carrying out the manned space exploration program. Hello. Seeing this, Zhang Yixia shook his hand and asked, "Oh, so your planet is called Earth. What do you call this place?" Zhang Tao and the other 2 were stunned. They could not believe it, but they soon realized that the alien they were speaking to wanted to ask them the name of the moon. In the eyes of us Earthlings, this place is called the moon. Like the sun, it's a celestial body that has always been with us. Are the 2 planets not far from each other? Zhang Yixia asked curiously.
Brother Wang Er's Name was Wang Er Chun.
He was programmed to have a quiet, shy personality. Seeing that Zhang Yixia was not stopping with her questions, he couldn't help but remind her. The butler doesn't want us to say too much. Zhang Yixia stopped asking and spoke to the 3 astronauts. Let's go. I'll bring you to your place of residence. Butler. Zhang Tao decided to remember this information. If possible, she would like to try getting more information from these aliens in the future. As they guided the astronauts to where they were going to live, Zhang Yixia and Wang Er Chun kept on whispering to each other. They seemed to be quarreling with each other. Meanwhile, the 3 astronauts looked around and followed them slowly. Behind them were 2 armed robot guards who watched their every move. After passing through a long corridor, they came to an elevator. Under the watchful eyes of Zhang Tao and the others, Zhang Yixia pressed the down button. Above the elevator, the numbers marked were changing from -9 to -10-11. While looking at the numbers, the astronauts realized that this base was much bigger than it looked. Despite being obviously bewildered with all of this, Zhang Tao tried his best to remember everything he had seen along the way. Ding! Just as they were feeling nervous, the elevator door at -18 suddenly opened. So, we are on the -18th floor? Let's go. The elevator was huge, twice as big as the elevators on Earth. After entering the elevator, Zhang Tao saw that the 2 robot guards were also coming in. As heavy as they looked to be, the elevator did not tremble at all. Alien technology. Normal, right? Anyways, what shocked Zhang Tao even more was the number of elevator buttons inside the elevator. The numbers ranged from -1 to -180, meaning that there was a total of, 180 floors underground? The 3 astronauts were absolutely shocked. Without ever being found out by the humans, the aliens managed to build an entire gigantic structure under the surface of the moon. Which floor did the butler send them to? Zhang Yixia stood in front of the button and asked awkwardly. In response to her, Wang Erchun quietly pressed the button for the -109th floor. Seeing that the -109 button light up, Lu Ning was a little scared. May I ask where you're taking us? Industrial area. Schwa. As soon as he finished speaking, the elevator door opened. Looking at the top, the number had jumped from -18 to -109. That happened in a second. The three astronauts were a little surprised. When they looked outside the elevator, the scene had completely changed. At the -18th floor, there was a metal corridor outside the elevator. Now, as they were at -109 floor, they saw that there was a giant factory outside the elevator. There were mechanical devices operating automatically everywhere. The lights in the factory were shining bright, and the machines were all running on their own. Not far from the elevator was a 3-story iron villa. It was where Zhao Yu temporarily stayed when he was inspecting the work that took place here. Zhang Yixia said as she brought the three of them to the front of the villa, "You guys stay here. I'll come and deliver your daily necessities every day." Wang Erchun interrupted. "This villa is the only place you can move about. If you leave, these two won't show you any mercy." As he spoke, he pointed at the 2 armed robots. "Yes, understood. We won't run around." Zhang Tao quickly agreed, then brought his 2 subordinates into the villa. "Has the Star Destroyer cannon been built?"
Yes.
"Let's go take a look. It's taking all my time to deal with these captives. I need to go see my Star Destroyer cannon." Zhao Yu took the elevator and went straight to -5 floor. On this floor, there were all kinds of defensive weapons waiting to be activated from their dormant state. Zhao Yu didn't stop here when he arrived. Instead, he boarded a small train on this floor and headed elsewhere. After about 3 minutes, the train stopped at a place that looked like a rocket launch station. "This is the Star Destroyer cannon?" Zhao Yu was overjoyed as he saw the cannon muzzle that was hundreds of meters tall. The Star Destroyer cannon was the most powerful weapon he had at the moment. According to the system, the highest level Star Destroyer cannon could blow up a star. Of course, the level of his cannon was still far from being able to do that. Right now, it was a level 1 cannon, and it could blow up a celestial body with a diameter of no more than 100 kilometers. The ground here has been disguised as a volcanic crater. If necessary, we can send the Star Destroyer cannon into space through the flying device at any time. Can we do a test fire now? Zhao Yu was eager to give it a try. Like what he did to all his other weapons, he wanted to test his Star Destroyer cannon 100,000 meters underground. "Sir, the power of the Star Destroyer cannon is a little too much. Our shooting range might not be able to withstand the impact." Uncle Da hesitated for a moment. "Why don't we go outside and test it out? It just so happens that these aliens came from a place called Earth. According to the information on their spaceship, Earth is only 380,000 kilometers away from our base. We can fire a shot there to see the effect." It had been a day since White Rabbit 9 landed on the moon. The internet was going crazy. More and more media outlets in Great Xia were starting to create content based on rumors heard in foreign countries. It's been proven. White Rabbit 9 is filmed in a recording studio. Truth. Reporter from Mean broke in and found the 3 astronauts. At first, Great Xia's netizens did not believe in any of the rumors from other countries. However, as time passed, they became less and less confident as the officials still did not give an answer. In the end, many people were disappointed. Although the official announcement had not been made, their hearts were already shaken. They were starting to feel that this White Rabbit Project number 9 might really have been filmed at a film studio. Great Xia Space Agency. Chief Engineer Yang, can we issue an announcement to clarify the truth? Seeing the disheartened reactions of the netizens, many of the staff members had mixed feelings. Grievance, pain, grief. All sorts of emotions surged into the hearts of these people. This was supposed to be an event worthy of national celebration, but because of the accidental disappearance of White Rabbit 9, it became the biggest joke on the internet. What truth? Chief Engineer Yang asked calmly. The truth that our equipment might have malfunctioned. Assistant Wang said anxiously. Open our official website. Look at the news this time last night. Chief Engineer Yang ordered calmly. Assistant Little Wang opened it and was stunned. On their official website, There was indeed an announcement that the signal was interrupted due to the influence of cosmic electromagnetic waves. Assistant Little Wong was speechless. She typed this announcement herself. It had been a short day, but it felt like a long time had passed. She had even forgotten about the announcement that she made yesterday. But, sir, there are a lot of people on the internet who misunderstand us. There are less and less people that support us. Meanwhile, more and more began to talk negatively about us. If we don't clarify it now, I'm afraid, to clarify something, you need to know what's actually happening. Chief Engineer Young shook his head. Let's not worry about that for now. Let's take a look at the long-orbit lunar satellite from the Commonwealth of Ming. How long will it take to detect the landing point? Assistant Xiao Wang could only sigh and investigate as instructed. 5 minutes left. If you think they will share it with us, then try it. After Chief Engineer Young finished speaking, he turned around and walked into a quiet room. He then dialed a special number and spoke a few secret codes. In 5 minutes, help me get a set of images from the Manhwa 14386 satellite. Assistant Wang walked to the Foreign Affairs Department and tried to call the Ming Space Agency. She wanted to see if they would share the image of the Manhwa 14386 satellite. Just half an hour ago, our satellite seemed to have been affected by cosmic electromagnetic waves. The signal was cut off. Assistant Little Wong was a little confused when she heard this. As it turned out, their satellite was also jammed. Was it a coincidence, by any chance? Great Xia, I think you should change your name to... Hey, Tiger Oil, weren't you dancing before this? A day has passed. Let's see you dance now. Some people who couldn't keep it to themselves made it all the way to Great Xia's network to mock the supporters of the White Rabbit project. Normally, the local netizens would only need to use 10% of their power to talk back to these people, but things were different now. The netizens were responding very weakly to this mockery. It wasn't that no one was paying attention, no. The netizens had their hands on the keyboard. They wanted to say something to support the White Rabbit project, like always, but they didn't know what to say. At the end of the day, a day had passed, and White Rabbit 9 had not appeared again. There's no way to fight this. Even if there's really a leaked video of the whole landing being staged, I would still try my best to deny it. But now, there's nothing? Yeah, even if it was really shot in a film studio, shouldn't they at least try to follow through with the lies? If they try to follow through, there would still be a lot of people who would be willing to believe it, right? Now, we've been exposed when we're still in the middle of creating this hoax. It's too embarrassing. Me too. I don't even want to go online now. We are the laughingstock of the whole world right now. These comments seem to be coming from the netizens of Great Xia. Still, Ma Haibo was a little skeptical. After scrolling through them, he asked his friend to check the IP address. Not in the country, overseas. Hey, they are pretending to be from Xia to make a fool out of us. Ma Haibo had a helpless look on his face. The other association members were also extremely uncomfortable with the hate the space agency was receiving on the internet. They wanted to show their support for the White Rabbit project, but their morale was low. Boss, can we make a comeback? Stay patient. There's still 1 minute before the Ming satellites can capture footage of White Rabbit 9's landing point. My friend will hack that satellite to get the image. After I receive the image, I'll connect it to our group. Remember to record it. At the Ming Space Agency, currently calibrating the position of MIU 14386. Currently firing short-frequency pulse laser. Once, twice, 3 times. The adjustment is complete. The position error is 3.4 millimeters. Please enter the coordinates of White Rabbit 9's landing point. Entering complete.
Adjusting MIV 14386 Spaschar.
Position adjustment complete. Image will be received in 10 seconds. Countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 3, 2, 1. Synchronization successful. Adjusting satellite altitude. Estimated time for departure from the observation target is in 39 minutes and 44 seconds. Thomas's eyes widened as he carefully looked at the image relayed by the satellite. On the big screen, there was nothing unusual on the moon. It was a boundless wasteland with no signs of life. There was no sight of White Rabbit 9.
No.
Thomas was a little confused. He turned his head. White Rabbit 9. Is there any problem with the surveillance video? No, sir. It did take off from Earth, but it eventually disappeared at the beta point on the back of the moon. What about their spaceships? Forget about White Rabbit 9. There was not even any trace left behind by the spacecraft when it landed. The staff members looked at each other in bewilderment. The internet was saying that White Rabbit 9 was filmed in a recording studio, but they knew for sure that White Rabbit 9 was launched and did reach the dark side of the moon. However, they had to face the truth. There was nothing to be seen or found. Shrink the image and expand the range. Immediately, the satellite image was zoomed out, and the whole area within a few hundred meters of the landing point appeared. Although the image became a bit blurry, they should still be able to see any lander that was in the area. That should be the case. However, no matter how they looked around, they did not find anything with the same white color as the lander. They did not even find anything that remotely looked suspicious. Damn it! The landing point Great Xia announced is wrong. That has to be it. Thomas thought that the Great Xia Space Agency had tricked them. If he had to guess, he would say that White Rabbit 9 had probably landed somewhere else on the dark side of the moon. At this moment, the image went black and a panda burning incense icon appeared. Boss, bad news. The system has been hacked.